All right, guys, we are back again with a quick update on the Chevy K20. So a lot of work has been done since the last video. To be honest, though, if we just had more time, we could probably have done this in a day, but we've spaced it out in a few days. And we're going to get the motor pulled today. But just wanted to give you a quick update before pull the motor. This video will have two parts to it. Just the beginning, just going over a quick update, and then the second piece is after the motor's been pulled here. But you can see in no particular order, obviously the hood has been taken off here. Got that put in the back. I did that by myself, would not recommend doing that with one person, but I felt ambitious one day. Got a couple scratches on the truck, but you live and you learn, and sometimes you just got to get it done. So pulled that sucker off. It's in the back of the truck here, but we got the radiator out. Obviously taking the battery out, taking the battery tray out, cleaned that, prepped it, painted it. And then, yeah, it's a pretty teeny engine when you start pulling off all the accessories and all the goodies, but got the carburetor pulled. Really the biggest thing, this is an 86, so it had a lot of emissions junk on there. So we had to be really diligent. The only thing I can really recommend is taking a lot of photos just to make sure you have all that, whether you have emissions or not, taking a lot of photos. The emissions tubes kind of go everywhere. So that's been fun to mess around with. But we got the AC compressor just pulled to the side here. I was wondering, my first initial thoughts on this, I've never pulled a motor before. I was like, man, pulling off these lines, like, do you disconnect the lines? And obviously the answer is no there. But just kind of going through all that through my head. But putting the compressor to the side, that was no big deal. Taking off all the accessories on the front here. Got our water pump left, but power steering, disconnecting that guy. We just left that little, is that power steering box down there on the right. The compressor we pulled off. Gosh, it's been a while. Alternator we pulled off, obviously. And then any of these miscellaneous guys were pretty straightforward. So there's a fan that goes in here as well. That was easy to just pull off. So everything's been real straightforward so far. I got the bell housing pulled off underneath. So really the only thing that we're missing to get this engine taken out is just disconnecting the motor mounts and then disconnecting the flywheel, I believe, is the next piece. But have my Chevy expert neighbor coming down to help finish this out. And next video that you guys see, this motor is going to be pulled. But also just taking a quick step back, we got the picker here, and then have some decent amount of room, hopefully, to situate that motor here and start working on her and tearing her down. All right, guys, more to come on the second part of this video. All right, we are back a couple days later after the last little clip that I took, and we've got a motor out. Woohoo! Pretty crazy to get this thing out. Pulling a motor is definitely easier said than done. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of other videos out there that'll give you a step-by-step. Maybe I can highlight some things for you guys, but this is going to be more of a build series opposed to how to pull a motor out of a truck. Just take some time, make sure that you take a lot of photos, know where all your wires and everything go. That's really going to be the biggest thing, but just have patience if you've never done it before. And like I said, just unbolt one piece at a time, label them, and, hope for the best. I think there's definitely a little bit of a luck factor that goes in here, but this is the engine bay. Pretty darn clean. If you look at the frame, not as mucky as some of these other trucks, but yeah, she's in good shape. So I will try to splice in a little video of us pulling this motor out here. But yeah, I mean, this is an empty engine bay, right? Let me go over here and I'll show you guys the motor So here she is, pretty straightforward once we started getting her out. The only issue that we really ran into, we had to cut a couple lines, just no big deal. We're going to do new fuel lines, of course. The exhaust manifold on this guy was the original exhaust manifold. So taking a peek, unbolting some of this under the truck, we actually did have to cut this guy down there. Just getting some of these bolts loosened up, it's just not worth it. It takes too long, and we're going to put a new exhaust on here anyway. So had to cut that guy. But besides that, mostly just unbolting components, getting it all out. And yeah, just watch your fluids. Obviously, we've got a lot of radiator fluid that's been coming out here. But next step in the build is going to be just to take off a couple other accessories that are on here, clean her down, and get an engine rebuild kit coming. So pretty darn excited. All right, guys, well, stay tuned. Motor out. Looking at that truck over there, we're gonna be in business here. So maybe even do a suspension on this guy, maybe do a video on that. But once we start tearing into the actual motor, we'll do another video. All right, until then, we'll see you. Thanks.